What's going on, ladies and DeGents? Welcome back to the Distinguished DeGents podcast. I am pretty fucking pissed off, I'm not gonna lie. We're gonna get to my Denver Broncos. We are going to get to that breaking news if you haven't heard already. It has not been a good weekend for me. Joining me as always, though, the one, the only. It's Jason Money Mansmann. Money Mansmann, we both got bumped from the fantasy playoffs. I get bumped because at the last fucking second I tinker my lineup and I put in Jake Browning over Joe Flacco, and had I just left him there, I would be in the championship. Before we even get to the betting. Now, mind you, by the way, I was down like 30 or 40 with my opponent having DeAndre Swift. Oh God, who was his quarterback? He had like a receiver. He had his receiver. Yeah, he had Brock Purdy, DeAndre Swift, and he had like another receiver left to go. And I was already down. It wasn't like the way I had figured it, I was going to lose. I'm pissed off to find I only lost by like 11.
Damn.
Yeah, so on top of that, the betting week was not that great. My best bet did hit, though. Money Management, what's going on with you? I think I've rambled enough.
Yeah. Well, as I said, I'm under the weather, but still here, looking forward to the recap. Fantasy football wise, I can't be upset. I really had no business getting as far as I did, and there was nothing I could do. My opponent scored close to 200. CD Lamb, Tyreek Hill, like you could just name Jahmyr Gibbs 2 touchdowns. Like I had no chance, so I lost by about like 100. That was fine. Like I had a good year. It was a rebuilding year. I shouldn't even have been in the playoffs. I made it. Yay. Like, I'll take what I got.
I will say... Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
I was going to say, like, the running theme right now, if you're following the NBA, folks, currently the Detroit Pistons are, like, the most god-awful basketball team in NBA history. And nobody wants to be the team that loses to the Detroit Pistons this year. I feel like I lost to the Detroit Pistons because my guy who beat me was a 5-9 record division winner. That's how bad their division was.
The NFC South of the fantasy football league.
Everyone was messaging me and saying congratulations on making it to another championship, and I was like, I got a bad feeling. Like it's any given Sunday, but like let's hold it. And then I think we have to start with. I think we are going to start with the Saturday games, but like it just like started from there, and it just never got better. But, anyways, how was your gambling week?
I was going to say, speak for yourself. I raked this week.
I'm happy for you.
I absolutely raked. I'm up. Oh my God. I've had to have been up at least like 7 units, probably closer to 10. I wrecked. I cleaned up this week.
Good.
My best bets, to give you an idea, I'll give even, you know what? I'll just give my ATS record because it's never this good. 10-6 ATS, 4-1 on my best bets overall for the first time in like ever.
Wow. Yeah, best bets. I went 2-3 on best bets. Best bet of the week, Miami Dolphins, that covered. Over of the week, dual over. That was money at the last second, so that was clutch. A dog of the week, it did not hit. Under was kind of close, and then just it didn't.
Yeah.
One last second score, that was done. Fade of the week, the Cardinals just never stood a chance. That was literally my week. It was just like nothing could go right.
Yeah, to give you an idea, best bet Cleveland Browns, never a sweat.
Never.
Fade of the week, Ravens against the Niners, never a sweat. Dog of the week, New York Football Giants get the cover. Tyrod Taylor, baby. Let's go.
Yeah, we have a lot to go through. I will say though, like I'm down 20 units. So that was my gambling week. In a nutshell.
Jesus.
Yeah, Merry Christmas, Steve. You hit a $1,200. Yeah. Now we're gonna take some of that back.
No, you're giving it back. Yeah.
Not before I cashed out, which is okay. But shockingly, my ATS record was not nearly as bad as I thought. 8-7-1 ATS. I pushed on the Seattle and Tennessee game because we handicapped it at 3. If you did manage to get to 3.5 and you took Tennessee, congratulations. I was not one of those fortunate souls. But to give you an idea, so 8-7-1 ATS, 8-8, 5-11 on the over-unders, though. Not really that great. Best bets over hit. I hit Cleveland, took that with you. Tampa Bay -1.5. That was never a sweat. Got that in. Miami, best bet. On the money line too, and I actually early bet it. Got it at even money. So that was a good hit, and I had an anytime touchdown round robin. Didn't get the full money back, but at least I got something. So
I played a lot more round robins this week, and it really paid off because I had a couple where I got like my bet back, so I didn't lose. And then when I won, it really was like a big hit. So
there you go.
That
yeah, but we got 15 games to recap and go over. We got 2 Saturdays. We have a Sunday night and then 3 Monday games, and then just a whole bunch of. I will say it was a whole bunch of shit.
Yeah, there was some games on Sunday, especially.
It was like weird because you would think for Christmas, like you were going to get like these big, really big, important, and some of them were important games. And really, there weren't that many that were like close, and the ones that were like there was really no interest in. So, sort of a weird situation. But we'll touch on this one. This one was supposed to be a highlight, and then just kind of got out of hand real fast. The Pittsburgh Steelers. They were at home. They were home underdogs against the Cincinnati Bengals and Jake Browning. And let me fucking tell you, man. Literally the minute that shit happened, I just knew I was doomed. Cincinnati 11, Pittsburgh 34. George Pickens has a career Christmas game. Pittsburgh gets the cover at home. The story of Jake Browning, I think I don't know about but I think I bought too much into that and kind of forgot that he was still a backup quarterback. Mason Rudolph being announced, I still wasn't a fan of it. I thought I was on the right side. Clearly I wasn't. And clearly Mason Rudolph probably should have been the guy all season. And it's kind of weird that he's the third stringer, but he's looked the best out of any Pittsburgh Steelers quarterback all year. So I don't know what that means for Kenny Pickett's future or Mitch Trubisky's, as a matter of fact, or even Mike Tomlin's, but I will say they took the criticism they received with the whole George Pickens situation, and he responded pretty fucking loudly.
Yeah, that was a missed opportunity in 2 respects. I should have played the Steelers. Like the Steelers, you talked me out of it. I should have played the Steelers, but that was okay. Saturday was not a good betting day for me. I had Pat Freiermuth over yards. He didn't get a catch. I should have played George Pickens. I should have paid Pickens. Especially
I played Pickens.
He should have
I played Pickens, but I played under.
Oh, yeah, I should have
dead on the first pass. Dead.
Yeah, I should have played him over. But that's okay. This is what Pittsburgh does. They go, it looks like their season's over, they rebound, they get a win. I think it was sort of a bad spot play, especially with Cincinnati. Like you knew with Cincinnati.
Yeah.
Their time was coming. They were due for it to finally catch up with them, and they couldn't pull the rabbit out of the hat this time. They got smoked.
Yeah, and oddly enough, too, Pittsburgh right now still out of the playoffs. They're currently the number 10 seed. Even though the Bengals lost, they're at number 9, tied at 8-7 with the Houston Texans and the Indianapolis Colts. So, a really big, important Week 17 match going forward, and I want to say Pittsburgh is playing. God, I want to say they had an easy matchup next week, but
yeah,
they're an underdog next week. That there it is against Seattle at Seattle.
Oh, never mind.
Non-conference road underdog. That's gonna be fun to handicap, but. As for Cincinnati, you got to wonder if this is the end of their season. This is the end of the dark horse contender.
I think they're against Kansas City. I think they're against Kansas City, too, so that's a tough game for them.
7-point underdogs in Kansas City. But if Jamar Chase comes back, it may be worth a look.
That's true. Without Jamar Chase, that was big. And let's be honest, we'll get to Kansas City.
Oh, yeah, we will. But first off, we got to get to your Buffalo Bills. Buffalo 24, Chargers 22. Chargers came out and honestly looked the best that they had all year. And the Bills looked like their old typical really bad Buffalo Bills. But the Bills managed to get it done. They got the game-winning field goal to win. Our over of the week does hit on that field goal. So that was good cash money there. Good call on that, Money Mansmann. It's your team. I'll give you the honors. I know you're not feeling well, so I'll save what I got for at least the Chargers then. But yeah, give me what your thoughts were on the Bills.
No, and this won't be a Bills rant. It might have been a Bills rant. Look, at the end of the day, this was a really bad spot for the Bills coming off that win at home against Dallas, cross country on a short week against a team that, let's be honest, you knew you were going to get the Chargers' best effort. They just got smoked by the Raiders, completely embarrassed, guys questioning their effort, got rid of Staley, new coach, long week, 10 days to prepare. Like, the spot was against the Bills, and I'm not going to give the Bills kudos. They came out flat as hell. But you know what? You found a way to win. And you got to win, and you needed to win. And you know what? It was crazy because, like, you're a Bills fan. After the game Saturday, it's like, you know what? Whatever, man. The team got to win. Like, my Christmas was really going to suck if they didn't get a win. Like, it was a terrible game. I'm going to ignore it. They got to win. They needed to get a win. On to New England. No big deal. Whatever. Like, nothing to be happy about, but we got to win. And then
I will... Sorry, go ahead.
Every single fucking team in the AFC that we needed to lose other than Miami, the Colts, the Jaguars, the Texans, the Bengals,
the Broncos.
The Broncos. Every single fucking team in the AFC lost. So now all of a sudden, it's like if things go well, even putting aside the Miami game, the Bills might clinch a playoff spot this week if a couple of those teams lose again. So it became like a, you know what? The Bills won, yay, whatever.
The Chiefs. The Chiefs lost too, by the way. To give you any that's a long shot situation, but the Chiefs losing too. That was probably really big.
Miami to lose. We really need the Ravens to win for any hope of that meaning anything. But
yeah. But Bills currently sit in the 6th wild card spot, just ahead of the Colts, right under Cleveland. They're only a game behind there. My takeaway on the Chargers, and listen, folks, I've talked a lot of shit on Brandon Staley and the Chargers over the years. This was a weird... I was wrong, and I have to eat it because Jason will tell... I almost put the clip and tagged it on our Twitter at DeGents Podcast. And it was literally my rant where I was like, why the fuck are we running to the books to bet the Chargers plus 12.5, plus 13? It's like, why? Brandon Staley's gone. Dang Dongowich is dead, and we got Easton Stick, no Keenan Allen, no weapons, and you're getting a Bills team that needs the win. Like, why the fuck are we running so fast? But you're 100% right. I was 100% wrong. The Bills were the team to fade that week, and really just on the spread. But I did not expect them to come out flat. I give credit to that game plan that they came up with, even if it was 10 days. They made Josh Allen look pretty rough yet again for a team that's like, what is it, 300 at this point, like 5-10, and they have no hope, but they came out swinging, and I think it was respectable, but I think it was also, like you said, the Chargers could give out 100% of their best effort, and they're still going to lose.
Oh, and by the way, we started a new interception streak for Josh, and even worse, there was a stat they showed. Josh Allen has had at least one turnover in every road game since like 2022.
That's insane.
I think it's like 15, maybe even more, maybe over 20 straight road games with a turnover.
You have to kind of wonder if that's coaching or if that's just Josh. But you also think, you look at his stats, the guy has what, 40 passing touchdowns? I mean,
honestly, yeah, I hate to say it because this is going to come off as fandom. Josh Allen should be the front runner for the MVP. Josh Allen's the MVP. He'll never get it because of all the bad interception numbers, which the analytics crowd is all, oh my God, he leads the league in interceptions. But like when you look at what the guy does week in and week out compared to the other guys, like no offense, Josh Allen is, in my opinion, the MVP. I mean, he leads the league. My only counter to that is
3 weeks ago, the Bills were out of the playoffs, and you wrote them off as dead. The Ravens, on the other hand, with Lamar Jackson, just made a statement game where Lamar didn't really even have to he didn't have to go full out and put in the most effort. He went out there, he didn't make mistakes, he won them the game, and guess what? They're the number 1 seed in the AFC. Now, does any of that matter? No. I want Lamar to do something in the playoffs first before I start writing his Hall of Fame ticket, but
I will say, I think if Miami loses to Baltimore and the Bills win the division and are like the number 2 seed, I think there's a chance Josh is the end. I don't know, man. To me, Lamar Jackson, his team is too good. Like, I don't see Lamar as the MVP. No offense. Like,
yeah, currently you guys are slated. I shit you not. You guys are currently slated to face the fucking Kansas City Chiefs at Arrowhead. First game.
This is the one year I'd like the Bills' chances in that game. But
you've said that every year, but
no, this year this looks like the first Bill. Well, again, unless if they continue to play on the road. Like, I think the game on the road at Miami, Week 17, if it means something, is going to show us a lot about this team. Because if they go and just play terribly on the road again, you have no faith that they could win a playoff game on the road. But this really feels like one Bills team where their defense is playing okay. They could run the ball. They could throw the ball. It's not all like hero Josh who needs like 50 passing touchdowns for them to win a game. Like, this looks like a complete Bills team, and is the first one where I really feel like if they play the way they did against Dallas, that looks like a Super Bowl team to me. Or, like you said, they'll play the way they did against the Chargers and will lose by 40 in Kansas City, you know.
Yeah, we'll never know, at least at this point. There's still 2 weeks left. Moving on, though, we got the Indianapolis Colts. They went to Atlanta. Yeah, they showed up. That's all I could say. 10-29.
I'm not betting the Atlanta game out of principle this week.
I don't think you should, and I think Indianapolis burnt. This was a game. I think if you were the Colts, this was supposed to be a must-win because you had a feeling the Jaguars were going to lose. They were talking about starting Beathard again. C.J. Stroud was out again. This was like your chance to take the division over, and give yourself a real good bump, and you just came out flat as a fucking pancake. Gardner Minshew is like the regression with him lately has me really concerned. I'm wondering if I should cash out that futures bet, but I am still going to hold strong. And honestly, you kind of get a reminder of who the AFC South really is. And Desmond, and again, you look at Taylor Heineke. This is the roller coaster of Taylor Heineke. You're going to get games like this where he looks really good and he looks pretty competent. Then you're going to get games where he throws 3 interceptions and he ends up getting benched again for Desmond Ridder. And by the way, if you want to watch a funny video, go find Terry Bradshaw's comments on Arthur Smith. He literally calls him I think he calls him like a clown or something. And he just goes, I would really like to kick his ass. This guy lied to Desmond Ridder to his face. Said he had the starting job back, said it was his to lose, basically said, I'm starting you for the rest of the year. And then 2 weeks later, you go back on your word, and he's just like, he's a buffoon, he needs to go. Which I think is true, but...
Yeah. Then again, though, I mean, Atlanta showed up, saved their season. I don't know, I can't figure out Atlanta. I should have known when Heineke's starting that they would get a boost. The podcasts I listened to were all like Atlanta or nothing, and it's one of the few times I bucked the podcast, and that game was never, unfortunately, a game that was never in doubt.
This is another game where I've learned a hard lesson, and it's that when the line movement flips the wrong for me, it flipped the right direction. I liked the Colts originally at -1.5, and then it flipped to where they were underdogs. I'm like, wow. This is like my lucky day, and I literally ladder bet the whole thing, and I should have known the minute it kept going up there was something wrong, and should have, but no, I didn't listen to it. It was my dog of the week. I mean, why? Again, it's like it's easier to fade Atlanta. It was easy to take the Colts. It's harder to look at the Falcons as a serious team, and that's really what it comes down to.
But it seemed like, if anything, like the Taylor Heineke was. It was too easy to bet Atlanta. Oh, well, Taylor Heineke's playing. Atlanta's good now. And it's like, are they really? Well,
yeah.
for 1 week they were.
And this, we'll see how it goes the rest of the year for the Falcons. Colts, they're still in the playoff hunt. I want to say they're the number 7 seed right now. They're hanging on for dear life, trying to stay relevant. Next week, they get the Las Vegas Raiders coming off that big win. And currently, the Falcons get the Chicago Bears week 17. That's going to be intense.
That's a fun game.
That actually, for two shit teams that I had no hopes for in the playoffs, that's actually got a lot of implications. So I'm looking forward to it. All right, so moving on, we now get... Shit, why did I lose my spot? God damn it. Here we go. It's the Green Bay Packers. They went to Carolina. They were 4.5-point road favorites. One of the sharps on one of the Action Network podcasts called Carolina plus 5.5. He even betted at 4.5, and I thought he was cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. And fair shit, he was right. Jordan Love. Wow, that was... What a stinker the Packers defense threw up, even though that wasn't Jordan Love's fault. 33-30 was the final. Carolina covers, but yet they lose once again. Probably Bryce Young's best game this year that he's had. Looked good. Looked like he played the part. Just a shame they couldn't get the job done, in my opinion. Green Bay, this is like the one spot where like all year in these close, tight games, they never seem to get the win. But this time around, they actually managed to get it done.
Well, it was weird because it just felt like they sort of outlasted Carolina. Like Carolina expended all that energy to come back. Almost reminds me a little bit of like the Washington Jets game where you're looking at it. I mean, let's be honest. You're looking at it and the Packers were an easy winner. I had checked them off as a winner. And then all of a sudden you're looking after like 5 minutes, the game was tied. And it was like, what the fuck is going on? Especially Christmas, like you're doing family stuff. You're not completely plugged into the games like normal. So you go, you check the score, and it's like, okay, I got this one. And then you look back like, 20 minutes later, and it's a tie game. And you're like, what the fuck happened? And
yeah. By the way, 2 missed extra point attempts for the Carolina Panthers. So this actually should have been probably a lot closer, in my opinion. This could have easily been a Panthers win, truth be told. But yeah, you're 100% right. The Packers, I had the big lead going into the fourth. I had written it off too, especially with the family shit going on. I was like, oh, it's a 2-touchdown score. They'll hold on and win. I get to my parents who live 45 minutes away. We put it on Red Zone, and all of a sudden it's a tied game, 30-30. And I'm like, what the fuck happened? Like, what the hell happened? And it was just like, they could not stop DJ Chark. Bryce Young just like woke up out of nowhere. And yeah, I mean, look, 300 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. It just kind of was a weird game where, like, I don't know if anybody really made any true mistakes, so it's kind of hard to point the blame as to where something went wrong with this Panthers team. But, yeah, unfortunately, they didn't get the win, and sort of a tough break.
And the Packers are becoming, it's funny, one of the guys on my podcast said, why would I ever lay over a field goal with Green Bay in any game ever? And the other guy was like, Steve Fezzik actually was like, oh, yeah, I'm playing the over Carolina Green Bay. And his handicap was, this Green Bay defense is god-awful, and they can't stop anything. And I was like, I don't know, man. Like, it's Carolina. Like, I doubted it. And he was literally like, you need to bet this now. The over's at 36.5. You need to, like, bet this now because the number's going to change. And I'm like, I'm not doing that. And literally it like doubled. Could have bet it up to like 60. So yeah.
Yeah, and it sucks because I actually had the Panthers under 16.5 team total. That going into the fourth was looking like really solid. And then that DJ Chark touchdown, like, again, that's kind of how my betting week went. Like, I would have a bet on a game, it would look good for a little bit, or it would be dead in the water first fucking play. And it was just like, you couldn't catch a break.
SGPN gave a good one on the Atlanta game. Tyler Algier over rushing yards. That was
that one was clutch. I'll give them that.
That was one of my hits this week. Yeah,
they were literally like hold on. They do realize they're not playing Bijan, right? Like, they want to keep giving this low number. Okay, we're just gonna keep hammering it. Like,
yeah. So I got distracted. I forgot to mention that the last game.
No, you're okay. And also, they did the same thing with Adam Thielen with the reception props because they would get like 4 catches for like plus 150, plus 180. And they were like, he's going to get the targets. Eventually, he'll just get the catches and it'll just be. And for like 4 or 5 weeks, they were just cashing on ladder bets on Adam Thielen receptions.
Yeah, not anymore, though.
Yeah, no, not anymore. All right, next up, this was your best bet. Cleveland Browns -2.5 against the Houston Texans. Easily got the cover, easily got the win. Final score 36, Houston 22.
Yeah, look closer because Houston got some late scores. That was, I mean.
Joe Flacco, man. What a career resurgence.
Oh, for real, for real. And Cleveland was Cleveland's just better.
Yeah, unfortunately.
They were doing this weird quarterback rotation, the Texans. I don't know what that was all about. But
it seems like they didn't know what to do, so they were just like, fuck it, let's see if we can get a spark. And then it's kind of like what it looked like to me was like they were trying to light a cigarette. The Bic lighter wasn't working, so they went in their other pocket. They went to get a matchbook. The matchbook wasn't working, so they went back to the Bic lighter, forgetting that it wasn't working either. And, instead of giving up and laying down, it was like they just kept trying to make the weird effort where unfortunately it just didn't seem to fucking matter. Davis Mills, though, 2 touchdowns, 149 yards. Amari Cooper with the big day, 11 catches, 265 receiving yards, 2 touchdowns. Effectively killed any fantasy hopes I had this week. I mean, the guy just dropped, a 40 or 50 piece in that game? Yeah. Just unreal. What a big game by him. Joe Flacco, though, I mean, you're getting those weird Flacco interceptions here and there, which does have me concerned down the line. But I will say this. I think if you're the Browns and Joe Flacco gets you decent in the playoffs, you cut bait with Deshaun Watson. Give Flacco a 2-year, and then either develop DTR or go find somebody in the draft and just restart, because I don't know. Cleveland just seems poised to make the playoffs. And I want to say, I did the predictions, and it's like, not only do they have to lose out, I think the Steelers would have to win out. I think the Ravens would have to win out.
They're going to clinch on Thursday, buddy. They're going to clinch at home.
Yeah, but it's like a really weird situation. There has to be a lot of things to go wrong for Cleveland to miss the playoffs now. So, spoiler alert, that's where we're going to go this week for Thursday night. So because I have a 6-unit futures bet hedging on Cleveland not making the playoffs. I already missed on the win total, but I did hedge that. So now this week I'm going to hedge the 6 units, and we're going to see how that goes.
Yeah, I don't think you need to worry. Flacco career, it's a fun story. You don't know how long it's going to last, but, if you think about it, they've had a good defense all year. Although their defense, again, on the road, it's a hard game. Let's be honest. They were winning the game comfortably. It got, it looked prettier late in the game. Cleveland did what I expected. Houston, you know me, I always like to fade those teams after the miracle wins the week before. And sure enough, again, it comes through once again where, Houston just...
Yeah, Case Keenum did not have a good game. Davis Mills came in, got some garbage time points. That's really what...
Yeah.
Call it what it is. They got garbage time.
Yeah, Houston never in that game.
No. All right. Moving on. We got the Detroit Lions. They won. They covered 3. They went on the road to Minnesota. Got the win 30-24. They clinched the NFC North for the very first time in franchise history. Because the last time they won a division, it was the NFC Central. We handicapped in the futures episodes that we were pretty much fading this Lions team. Don't know why they were a division favorite. Boy, did Dan Campbell prove us wrong.
It's weird. Well, early in the year, they were a lot better than they are now. The defense was really at a high level to start the year. And now they've kind of just subsisted. But that's the big thing. When you get off to a good start in the year, it really does give you a lot of leeway. And they haven't been playing their best football, but they've sort of just been doing enough. And the defense actually didn't play that horrible against the Vikings. They definitely came up with some big plays against Nick Mullins.
Yeah.
This game hurt because I wanted to play the Lions and I let the Sharps talk me out of it.
Well, to be fair, it really was a close game going into the third. It was 17-14, and it was really very much a back-and-forth game until the fourth quarter when it, became a 2-score lead, and then it just, Minnesota was just unable to catch up. And that Lions defense, I will say, at the end of towards that fourth quarter, they came in clutch and did what they had to do to shut down Nick Mullins and get the win. So, and again, kudos to them. They're going to make the playoffs. I hope this isn't their Super Bowl. I really hope this isn't their Super Bowl because there's still 2 weeks left of the season. And depending on what seed they get as a division, you have to wonder, are they going to be a home game against someone like the LA Rams with Matt Stafford, who's going to be very comfortable in that environment? Or, are you going to get a scrub NFC South team that's going to sneak in? You kind of have to wonder.
No, you're 100% right, especially, you look at what San Fran just did, although I think they're fine. You look at the way the Eagles are playing. You look at the way the Cowboys are playing. All of a sudden, the 2 seed is open for you. And if you get a little lucky, Detroit could even potentially be. It's crazy to think. I don't know how possible it is, how likely it is. But
it's very possible, but the Niners have to lose out. And I don't think that's going to happen.
Well,
although,
yeah, that's probably not likely. But 2 seeds available. 2 seed might be available.
They do play the Cowboys this week, and I think the Vikings, they get a weird... I think they have a weird matchup.
Oh, that's true. This is going to be the Cowboys bounce back.
Yeah, so they're going to get that, and then the Vikings... Oh, it's Green Bay, Sunday night. That's what it is.
Oh, gotcha.
So, yeah.
Spoiler alert, Cowboys may already be... It's not official yet. Cowboys, sneak peek, may be my best bet of the week.
Ooh, that's
back at home. Lions clinched their first division title, 1993. Although we know the Cowboys can't beat winning teams, but anyway.
No, but Detroit. I should have made this one of my picks. It was my under of the week, and again, it kind of when you go into that fourth, and it was hanging on by an edge. I kind of figured it would just end there, but no, Minnesota. They put in the effort, and they killed that dream. All right. Speaking of dream killers, this one, I don't know what to make of this shit game. The Washington Commanders, the score was 28-30. But I remembered at halftime, the Jets had a 20-7 lead, or 27-7.
Yeah.
What the fuck happened?
Jacoby Brissett 2 weeks in a row, and he's the starter now, by the way.
Yeah, I'm not going to sit here and say why the hell didn't they do this earlier, but the regression with Sam Howell is on one hand, that is so unreal. This guy was the passing yards leader, 5 weeks ago?
Yeah.
And was making the offense look really good again, and Washington was kind of this weird underdog that you knew could score points. It was just whether their defense could keep up. Now it's just God, that Jets game, it was they laid over and died for Sam Howell, and Sam Howell just could get no protection. Jacoby Brissett then comes in and just looks like the next coming of Jesus.
Well, I think Sam Howell's regression has come from playing better teams. I really think that Giants game was the beginning of the end, because it seems since then, Washington has been just a dumpster fire. Yeah, that whole game was a fucking mess. The Jets, I don't know. They didn't look great. They looked like the Jets always do.
They looked great in the first half. That looked like the Jets team that I think some sharps were looking for 5-6 weeks ago. When it was oh yeah, this defense could keep up. But it was really holy shit, this Jets offense, they're fucking doing whatever they want whenever they want.
Trevor Siemian probably had the best game of a Jets quarterback, except for that one game when Zach Wilson played well. But no, yeah. I think the Let's Talk Jets guys were saying, wasn't that the Jets were great? It's Washington's just worse.
Yeah.
Even with Jacoby Brissett, I don't know if I'm looking to back them ever for the rest of the season.
Yeah, I think Washington, albeit they did cover, so it's
Yeah, we were
Now,
right about that. Crazy enough.
yeah, we did. Yeah, we did. I wasn't right about the Commanders winning, but I did say, like, look, I even said, like, the Jets defense, like, they probably could pull this off on their own and not need much offense, but no, they fucking, like, learned that if you feed Brees Hall, like, and give him carries, he'll get you scores. And sure shit, like, they
Yeah,
had the game, like, lock and
we'll
key. It
see
was
how
just
that
that
works.
second half.
We're gonna see how that works this week.
Yeah, this week I have
NTPN,
no
one of
hope.
their plays was Brees Hall over rushing yards. I'm not backing that.
Um, depends on which Cleveland defense shows up. Truth be told, that's my takeaway.
Cleveland's
But
at home. I'll give you that.
yeah, so we know where we're going to go with that. All right. Last 1 o'clock game. The Seattle Seahawks. They went to Tennessee. They were 3-point road favorites. They got the last second win, 20-17. Titans blow yet another fourth quarter lead. Yeah, this I think is starting to smell like the end of Mike Vrabel. I can't figure out like the Titans, like you can't figure out the Falcons, but for Ryan Tannehill, supposedly, like in the back of my head, everybody and their mother was saying, "Oh, Tannehill's coming in. This is going to be like an improvement. This is going to be great." And I'm just sitting here in the back of my head, like they benched this guy. We know what he is. Like, really, he's gonna like pop off for no reason as a home dog, and I feel so stupid for even playing it, but it pushed, so no profit there at 3. If you got it at 3.5, like I said earlier, congratulations. But God, what a stupid fucking handicap by me by thinking the Titans +3 with Tannehill was going to be literally anything different than what we've been seeing all year.
It's funny. I was right there with you. I thought the Titans were going to play a lot better with Tannehill. It's so stupid because I literally had one of my bets with a Seattle Seahawks money line when they were like a 1.5 or 2.5 point favorite earlier in the week. And I was like, oh my God, this is great. Like I'm getting Seattle money line minus like 140. That's wonderful. I love that bet. And then because I thought like I'm either going to get a hobbled Will Levis or maybe I'll get Malik Willis and it'll be easy money. And then I heard Tannehill was starting, and I'm like, fuck me. I'm stuck with that stupid Seattle money line bet. And somehow Seattle won. And I looked and like, holy shit, Seattle won. I'm happy. That was, I'll say, there's not much to say about that game. That was indicative of my week where it was literally like, oh shit, I guess I'm screwed. Like, oh, look, Seattle won. Yay. It was, I got lucky this week.
Yeah, I unfortunately was on the wrong end of this. Geno Smith, and again, this was a weird game where I was like, you need to wait till the quarterback announcements before you think about putting any money because it's like, were you going to get Geno Smith? Were you going to get Drew Lock on the road? Or were you going to get Tannehill or Will Levis or Malik Willis? It was just like a weird game, but I always was like, if you get 3 or 3.5, just take it with the Titans and blindly have faith. The 3 did push, so like maybe there wasn't too much to be upset at myself for, but I will say, moving on, Ryan Tannehill, he's no good. His career's done, and I think it's the end of Mike Vrabel as well.
He could
I
be
think
a backup with the Jets next year.
Or you could go back to Miami and back up Tua.
Oh, there you go.
That would be funny. All right, 4 o'clock. The Jacksonville Jaguars. They went to Tampa Bay. I didn't even really pay attention to this game. It was just more like I paid attention to the score. 30 from the Bucks, 12 from the Jaguars.
Jacksonville might not win another. Here's my takeaway. Jacksonville may not win another game this year. They're terrible. I mean, they are horrible.
What? I just don't know what they're thinking at this point. Keeping Trevor Lawrence in the game. Like, there is clearly something injury-related, brain-related going on.
You have to almost, like, consider saving him from himself and, like, moving on to next season. You are 100% right.
Yeah, there's... I mean, and it's bad enough. Like, Trevor Lawrence are, like, making... His mistakes are bad enough as it is. But then, he's hurt. It's like, why are you putting him... Why are you letting him do this to yourself? If you're already losing games and he's already susceptible to these mistakes, and you put him back, you have to wonder if that's like a bad coaching from Doug Peterson, or if this is the Jaguars saying, "Oh, fuck it, he's on a rookie contract, we'll kill him and dump him."
I mean, Trevor Lawrence has never missed a game in his career, so I mean, props to him because he's out there. But like, I think he picked up a shoulder injury now after this game. He has the ankle sprain. He came off a concussion, like a self-reported concussion, like last week. He's a mess. He's ugly. And Jacksonville, I mean, let Tampa put up a 30 burger against you. That was another game where it was, again, one of those ones where I had a lot of Tampa Bay -1.5, thinking, oh, CJ Beathard's going to play. And then, of course, come game day, oh, fuck, Trevor Lawrence is coming in. Wonderful. And I was worried for a grand total of the opening snap of the game. And then it was like, oh, fuck.
Yeah. By the way, the Buccaneers, I want to say they're on a 3-game win streak. I'm pulling them up now, but
big game.
Very big
game.
Yeah, if they win, they get the division next week against the Saints. And let's see here. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4-game win streak. My apologies for the Buccaneers. So yeah, very big game coming up this week against the Saints. That one's going to be interesting to see because I know they have the bad history with them. I'll wait till we get to the Saints game, which I want to say...
No, that was Thursday. We did that one already.
Oh, we did? Okay, so since we're... All right, so the Saints are currently sitting at... What is it?
This next one's for the Caser. They have 8 losses. So they're a loss away from you winning the bet outright.
Well, no, I thought we had it at 9. So if they go 9-8, it pushes.
That's what I'm saying. Like, they have 8 losses. They're a loss away. They'll have 9 losses. You get the Caser. So it's push now. I cannot win, sadly. Boo-hoo. Thank you, Derek. I don't mind if they won, like, the Packers game, which they should have won, and...
Yeah, you'd have been on.
The other fucking game they should have won. Like...
Oh, Jacksonville. Thursday night.
Oh, okay.
When they were in the red zone.
Fucking remind me. They won those 2 games, like, but anyway. So yeah, we lost away. And it could be this week. This week could be the case, sir.
I'm looking forward to it. All right, my fade of the week, the Arizona Cardinals. Well, they showed up in Chicago. They tied their shoes.
Dreadful pick.
Yeah, this one.
I want to know what were you thinking? First off, that's the real question here.
I didn't get the hype around Chicago, and really it was more of like why is Chicago a 4.5 point home favorite? It wasn't necessarily like the Cardinals play, and that's where I knew I went wrong. Like I started literally thinking about it watching this game, and I was like, okay, where did I go wrong? Where did the handicap start? Oh yeah, why am I betting Chicago -4.5? And then I look, and it's like, oh look, Kyler threw another pick. That's why. No, but kudos to Chicago's defense. Ever since they got Montez Sweat, they have been like
different unit.
They have been like phenomenal. It's almost like when they traded what's his name to the fucking Ravens and how the Ravens automatically got better and then the Bears got worse. It's like they realized that mistake. Roquan Smith, I think. It's like they realized their mistake and they like got someone to replace him and now it's like they're good again, which it's crazy to think, but I mean the stats kind of back it up. The Bears defense has been, they've been getting turnovers, they've been getting stops, and now they have been playing shittier teams as well. Here I'll say this here and now, folks. Mansmann was right. He was right about Kyler Murray. This guy is not good enough. He is not good enough anymore for this NFL.
Told you, man. Especially on the road in Chicago late in the year,
which is weird because Kyler Murray, like even one of the sharps on the Action Network, he even said like, yeah, Kyler Murray on the road, he has really good records. It's like this is a spot you bet it and you just don't think about it, and until you lose on it, you just keep doing it. And sure shit, we lost on it, so now we can say we won't do it again. Then again, they may bet the Jets because of their defense one more time, but. Yeah, I can't. I tried. I really, really tried to be on the side of Kyler Murray. I really did, and it's dead. I'm done. There's no use in trying to defend him anymore. It's like,
thank you, buddy. I'm glad you saw the light.
This guy cannot be a starter in the NFL next year. He just can't. He's not that. That performance was not good. Even in the wins they did get, like with the Steelers, he wasn't like. To me, he really wasn't all that impressive. He didn't put up any big numbers. And Yeah, you're just starting to see all of his running around and like his hero ball antics. Like all you have to do is stop that, and they can't do anything.
And then on the other hand, it was a bad matchup because of the run game. And I will say Fields has played a lot better since like he was hurt and Badgett came in. Like I don't know what it was. Maybe he learned something watching from Badgett, but it's a lot more like taking the easy throws where they are and then just running, which is it's almost like earlier in the year he tried to be more of a pocket passer and he just like wasn't. And now he's reverting back to like what he was before. And he's not good, but he's good enough with the Bears defense the way they're playing. You know what I mean?
I will say the Bears are in a very interesting spot. Do you get rid of Justin Fields because you have the first? They have the first overall right now, I think.
See, it's weird because I would like 100% try and trade Fields because I think this is a mirage, a late season mirage for a guy that, let's be honest, the Bears season has been over technically, theoretically. I guess they have a minuscule chance to maybe make the playoffs. I don't know. They have like 9 losses or whatever. I guess it's
Chicago right now is like dead last in terms of like the rankings in the hunt. But yeah, they're only behind Atlanta, New Orleans, Green Bay, and Minnesota, who are the 8 through 11. It's only a 1-game swing. And I think Green Bay has a matchup against Minnesota, so one of them is definitely going to lose. Chicago, unless there's a tie, maybe that's the situation. Like there has to be a tie. Because if they
about Chicago, their season to me has been over for a while. They're playing out the string, getting a few meaningless wins, and you know what? I hope they do stick with Fields because they'll be 6-11 again next year. Honestly, this is good. I can't wait till the Bears prop is like 9.5 next year, like over under 9.5, and I'll bet the under and make like.
Oh, we'll make bank on that.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. Like, just last note, what I'll say. I think if you're the Bears, I just don't know if getting a Caleb Williams, and I've seen a couple of his college games, and let me tell you, I don't see him as a next generational talent. I really don't. And again, now I was wrong about Bryce Young, but I think he's just a product of a bad organization. You have to wonder if Bryce Young goes to a decent coach, a decent team, whether he does any better. And if that game from Green Bay said anything, the talent's still there. But I just don't know if you're the Bears, do you really get a Caleb Williams and throw him in the same situation you did Justin Fields and expect that it's going to be successful?
Well, I will say Caleb Williams was successful in college considering, like, he had no defense, like, at all.
Yeah.
Single-handedly made USC, like, a halfway watchable product. I mean, I don't know.
And they still lost a few games.
Yeah, it's early for draft time, but I don't know. To me, Caleb Williams may be the answer. I know for a fact Justin Fields is not.
Fair enough. All right.
Discount Lamar Jackson vibes.
All right. Well, speaking of discount MVPs, Dak Prescott, Dallas Cowboys, went to Miami, took Miami minus 1.5 as my best bet. Got a little scared at the end, but we got away with the victory. We got the cover, 22-20.
Half-point squeaker.
Hey, look, it was my one win. It was a 4-unit win. I took it. I was happy. Considering how the rest of my week was going, I was like, fuck it. I'll chalk this one as a good thing. Like, yeah, this was very telling for both teams. The Cowboys are still the choke artists that we know and love. They cannot win the big game. They cannot beat the team where it matters most.
Can't win on the road.
Can't win on the road. Dallas, now they're going home against the Lions, but this is also a plus 500 team. It's like, I don't know which one I want to fade.
Yeah, I know.
So,
Detroit
in Miami,
Super Bowl.
Yeah, in Miami, I think we learned that this is, when they face real competition, this is the Miami team you're going to get. And you start to think, why did Buffalo beat this team? And then you see what happened here, and it's
God,
like, oh
I'm
yeah.
so scared that like Miami's gonna catch the Ravens, like because I'm to the point where I feel like Miami loses to the Ravens, they are like almost assuredly, in my mind, going to lose to Buffalo and be one and done in the playoffs.
Yeah, I'm right there with you, and again, it's like you hate to see it because this Dolphins defense with Vic Fangio has looked a lot better than previous years. Tua Tagovailoa is kind of starting. I don't want to say starting to come out of his shell, but maybe it's because of Hard Knocks and the treatment. You're starting to see that, like, okay, he's actually not like that bad at quarterback. Him and Mike McDaniel have a good relationship, so I know that's a key factor too. But at the same time, it's like you start seeing these limitations in these big matchups, and you start wondering, like, are you going to get the Tua that could throw up 4 touchdowns and get Tyreek 100 yards, or is this going to be the Tua that like has to game manage the win at the fourth quarter, and it's really a Hail Mary at that point? But no, Miami got the win. That was good. It was a much needed win because there was a tough opponent. There was talks about them being frauds, so I think that got the media off their back a little bit there. And yeah, 2 very important games going up next week against the Ravens, and then the week after for Buffalo. So.
See, yeah, to me, I really feel like for Miami, the next game is the one to win to seal the division because Baltimore, short week, short rest, cross country, big win against the Niners in a Super Bowl matchup. That feels like the time you can get at Baltimore. And if you win, you don't have to play the Bills. Like, you really don't have to play the Bills all that tough week 18. It doesn't matter. Because I have a feeling if they lose to Baltimore and the Bills do what I think they're going to do on Sunday, the Bills are going to have like all the momentum and Miami may not. But
yeah, I'm with you in terms of like this is a must win for the Dolphins, but yeah, my last note I will say is I'm not completely writing off Miami yet. I don't know if I'll be able to write them off even if they do lose the next 2 weeks, even with the momentum going the wrong way.
You can because they're not as good on the road. That's the problem.
Not just that, but I think it's going to depend on who they get. Because I could see a Miami going to like an Indianapolis and getting a win. Or getting a Houston Texans no CJ Stroud if they manage to pull it off. I can't see them going to Buffalo, to Kansas City, to Baltimore. I could honestly even say the same for Jacksonville. It's like, I don't even know if they could go to Jacksonville and get a win there. So
Jacksonville's dead in the. I don't know who's going to win the AFC South. I think if Miami, see, the problem is if Miami doesn't get it, they're going to have to go to either Kansas City or Buffalo. And
yeah,
I mean, is their season going to end in Buffalo 2 years in a row? It may very well end in Buffalo 2 years in a row.
Yeah, that's a lot of wondering to say. And yeah, for Dallas, like every game's a must win from here on out. You're a number 5 wild card. You do have a playoff spot clinched too, so I wonder if you get this win in your Dallas and you potentially lock the 5. Do you just rest everybody in like week 18 chaos week? It's like you're getting Dallas at a really low number with a Cooper Rush, whoever the fuck their backup is.
I mean, they may try. The problem for Dallas is, again, not the first round. I think you could go to either. I think Tampa would be harder. If you somehow get New Orleans, I think you beat New Orleans because they suck. But then next week, you're either going to go to Philly, to San Francisco.
Well, if you're the 5, you play the 4. So could it be Tampa? Like, is this going to be Tampa, Dallas all over again?
But even if you win that, the problem is then you play a real team in all likelihood.
Yeah.
Wherever, you know what I mean? Like, they're not going to San Fran, Detroit, or Philly, in my opinion, and winning.
No, I agree with you there. All right. We got 4 games left. They're all the primetime games. Mansman, I need the mic. I need the mic.
Go. Not saying a word.
The Broncos fucking failed to win and cover at home against Bill goddamn Belichick and the fucking Patriots. Holy shit. When I said you can't take the Broncos at +7.5, at -7.5, I did not think there was going to be 2 fucking fumbles from Marvin Mims in back-to-back scores to give them a 2-score lead. I did not think it was going to come down to a fourth quarter drive to get a tie. What the fuck was going on in that goddamn Broncos game? Patrick Surtain let Devontae Parker, and let me make sure, I want to make sure I get this guy's name right, because last time I disrespected a guy, it ended up fucking biting me in the ass. Here we go, Demario Douglas. 2 receivers that nobody cares about, they aren't on anyone's fantasy team. Pat Surtain let them get 100 fucking yards between the 2. Where the fuck was our defense? Where the fuck was the O-line? Denver looked, here's my thing. They looked halfway decent at first in the first quarter, and it was like, oh, slow start, but we're okay. Then that shit happens, and I'm like, I'm about to throw the jersey. I'm fucking done. I hate this team. Nothing in the second quarter, nothing in the third quarter. The Broncos in the fourth. Russell Wilson manages not 1, but 2 back-to-back touchdown scores to tie the game. You have a 2-minute drill, you get the ball, and your plays are, and I fucking quote, screen pass, bubble pass, penalty, heave-ho it into the corner for 15 yards to Jerry Jeudy. This has to have been one of the worst play calling I have ever fucking seen out of Sean Payton in this game. And really, it makes me wonder if this was like all a big setup, going full conspiracy theory. Like, was he just setting up Russell Wilson for failure? But I'm just thinking, no, Russ is probably having another bad game. He's looked like shit. Bill Belichick does the typical Belichick thing. Fucking just hands the ball off, killing clock. What does Sean Payton do? Burns 2 of his timeouts. Gives them fucking all the time in the world on third down to go get a first in field goal range. Sure as shit, Bailey Zappi zings the ball. They're in field goal range. Good job, dipshit. You burned 2 timeouts and you gave them a chance to win. Holy fuck. So then what do? They let them spike the ball. There's 1 timeout left. Do they use this timeout to ice the kicker? A guy who has doinked 2 balls in this game. No. Sean Payton just sits there smug as a motherfucker and just watches. And this guy drills it down the middle, 26-23. Now, for those of you who haven't heard, the breaking news, the Denver Broncos are benching Russell Wilson, the $250 million quarterback. The guy that we gave up 3 first-round picks. Drew Lock, Shelby Harris, and Noah Fant. A defensive end we could have used at some point. A number 1 tight end that could have been producing. Although number 85, whoever took over, I forget his name, he came in clutch on that last touchdown. No fucking Cortland Sutton. He goes out with a concussion. You're going to bench him. And I swear to God, if this is true, we are benching him over a contract dispute. It came out that after they beat the fucking Chiefs, they tell Russell Wilson, you need to remove your injury clause where we pay you out your remaining $36 million, or you will be benched the rest of the year.
Oh, Jesus.
What in the Walmart management fuck is this joke of an organization doing? You just came off the best win in your franchise's history since Peyton Manning won you the Super Bowl. And you tell your starting quarterback, you need to remove this clause that we agreed to do to get you, or we're not going to start you. But do they do that? No, Jason, they don't fucking do that. They let the guy start another 6 games. And all of a sudden, you lose this game to the Patriots. Not exactly eliminating you, but putting you pretty fucking low. By the way, if the Broncos win out here and the Chiefs lose out, we win the division. But no, let's bench Russell Wilson because George Patton, our GM, has a little contract dispute over a potential injury situation. What a fucking clown of a GM to give up all of that haul. To give up your future. Oh, and by the way, we gave up another part of our future to get Sean Payton, a fucking clown who wants to fucking kick an onside kick on an opening kickoff against the Raiders. A fucking clown who started 1-5. Literally had a fucking... He literally let Brandon McManus walk so he could sign Will Lutz, a guy who fucking misses half the goddamn time. No, we don't want that. No, let's let all of our backup quarterbacks go that's been around the team for years. Let's just sign Jarrett Stidham, a guy who's had a total of 2 fucking starts. But no, Stidham looked good. Let's bring him in. What the fuck do we need draft picks for, Jason? We could just fucking rebuild this team with, nobodies.
Oh, yeah, by the way, there's talk that they're potentially going to cut Russell Wilson after the season. You know what the dead cap number is if they do that?
120 mil, I think.
85 next year, and I think, another like 40 after that. Like, basically, your future, your 2 years, your next 2 years, if they cut him, is going to be, you're going to be the worst team in football.
Well, and that's what I don't get. We're already paying him. Why are you so butt fucking hurt? Not only about 36 mil, but it's like, oh, well, it guarantees him a roster spot till 2025. So you're going to cut him and pay him anyways. And start a Jarrett Stidham. And then potentially cut him in the offseason. Like, George Patton, this is so negligible as a GM. He deserves to be fired if this is true. And don't get me wrong. If Russ was hurt, if Russ completely blew the game and threw a pick 6, if this had officially eliminated them from the playoffs, this wouldn't be as bad. You still have a chance. The Chiefs are losing right now. Russ is still your number one. He's still he's got 26 touchdowns, only 8 picks. I know he has some fumbles, but I just don't get this move is like so asinine and fucking ridiculous. This is like, again, and I mentioned this rant before, and I'll try to keep it short. This is just another list of fucking moves that the Broncos have made that make them another losing organization because they either can't commit to the fucking move, or it was just the wrong move to begin with, and they overpaid for it, and they're going to pay for it for another 5 years from now. They paid the farm out to get Melvin Gordon when they had a Phillip Lindsay literally for cents on the dollar, who wanted to be there. Did we pay him? No, we fucking paid Melvin Gordon to fumble every 5 fucking rushes. No, what do we do? Do we go in free agency and try to get a good, strong safety? No, let's re-sign Kareem Jackson so he could be suspended again half the year, just so we can cut him last week and put him on our practice squad, even though he made waivers and now he's on the Texans again. So that was fucking smart. Good job, Denver. Good job. I'm proud of you. Great. No, let's not keep Dalton Reisner, the guy we nominated for Walton Payton Man of the Year. Not that that has any football relevance, but oh, wait, he was a fucking starter for 3 years. He's only missed 3 games. So someone you could rely on to be healthy and active. No, do we re-sign him? No, we fucking get Quinn Ramirez, and oh, look, he has another fucking offside penalty. Do we sign? No. Do we go get a star receiver like Tyreek Hill in free agency? No. Let's just sign Tim Patrick so he can be on IR for another 2 years. Courtland Sutton, the one signing, I was like, okay, like I get it, but I mean, like we sign him.
When's Jerry Jeudy going to be benched?
I mean, my problem is like this just comes across like no matter how you look at it, that this is all Russell Wilson's fault because he's making all the money, and it's like, no offense. You fucking gave up the farm to get this guy, and then you paid him. That's where the negligence comes in with our general manager. How the fuck is he going to get away with giving up like the next 4 years of our future to Seattle, giving out all this Walmart money to Russ, and giving up another portion of our future? Oh, and Bradley Chubb, we lost him too. Why keep Bradley Chubb and we can send him to Miami? We can get a Sean Payton. They'll fucking get along great. And sure shit, they pretty much fucking hate each other. And it's like the writing's on the wall. Like, they do not get along.
Yeah.
But I just don't get, why is Sean Payton so fucking smug? Why does he look like he thinks he's the smartest man in the room? Like, no offense, you fucking have made a lot of terrible play calling. You have put the Broncos in shit winning situations. I'm sorry, bro. It's a two-minute drill, and I don't care that you were getting sacked. What makes you think a fucking bubble screen and a screen play? Next fucking pass. Joe Lombardi, great offensive coordinator from the LA Chargers, by the way, that we took over. Glad to see that fucking panned out well.
From a great organization, the LA Chargers.
The Broncos are such a fucking joke. I'm done. I'm done with this team. I don't even want to say they're my team anymore. I'm so fucking done. I'm fed up. They just said this literally is so bad. I don't know how Patton has a job. I don't know why. And Sean Payton, you are the biggest fucking fraud ever, by the way, too. I don't want him to not take any shit. You literally went and cleaned house and were like, yeah, these are my people. And yet your people are like making no improvement as to what we had. You know, and again, like these small movements at the time, regardless of when they make sense or not, it's like you're still setting them back because you think it's like one step back, 2 steps forward. I have yet to see the 2 steps forward, though.
Look, at the end of the day, it's easy to be good when you have a Hall of Famer quarterback. Like Drew Brees is a Hall of Famer. Very easy to be a genius with the Hall of Famer quarterback.
Yeah, no, it's okay. Let's just do fucking Bounty Gate again. I'm sure that'll work, Peyton. Yeah, let's do Bounty Gate.
If he gets Greg Williams for your defense, that'll really be the laugher.
I mean, like, and they got rid of Randy Gregory. Now, admittedly, he wasn't doing anything, but it was just like, I just don't get what the fuck the Broncos are doing at this point. It is just so absurd. That, like, you basically give up the farm in the offseason for all these players, and then you either cut or trade half of them. But you keep Russ, you keep fucking all your other stud players on offense, and you just don't fucking... all Peyton is doing is making excuses, and when they asked him about it in the press conference, they're like, yeah, well, look, I get where you're coming from. I can't cut 5 offensive linemen and replace them. I can't cut all the receivers and bench them. You know, I can't bench the tight ends. And I'm sitting here like, yeah, the fuck you can. Literally, there's a bunch of free agents and on waivers and everything on practice squads ready to go. If they're not good enough, you're going to bench your star quarterback, but you're not going to blame the O-line for not fucking protecting Russ. You're not going to blame Jerry Jeudy for not catching the fucking ball. Like, it's so bad, man. And I'm just sick of the excuses.
Normally when they bench a quarterback like this, I think Denver did this last year too. Didn't they talk about that? They were concerned because of Russell Wilson's, because of all the money. They didn't want, him to get injured. And
he was out for, a small period because he was hurt. And they were just like, we're not trying to make it worse. It wasn't like an end of the year. We're just going to bench because he played all the games last year at the end.
I just think this is the prelude to them getting rid of him. I really do. Which it's somewhat justified because he hasn't been good. But geez, man, $85 million dead cap. Even if you get rid of him, what are you doing? You are in the tank. Next year, you're just completely tanking.
I just don't know how higher ups in that organization are going to still have a job at. Again, really, I want to know, how do you justify doing all this to get the guy and then benching and cutting him? Which, again, if there was, a plan to go get the number 1 overall, or you were in a position of top 5 and you had somebody you liked, or you saw somebody was going on free agency and you're just going to go all in again. Who the fuck is out there right now that you're going to pay Russell Wilson not to play? You're worried about injury. You're paying him anyways. So what's this bullshit of we don't want to give him the roster spot for 2 years? It's why not at this point? You already had playoff chances as it is. Why the fuck wouldn't you keep?
Do you even have a draft pick this year?
I think we do.
Do you have a first rounder this year? Finally. Maybe you could watch the NFL draft this year.
I can. We have the 14th overall.
So there you go. Maybe your quarterback of the future.
Oh God. They're such a fucking joke. This move is such a joke because And again, I don't want to hear the logic of like, well, Russ is bad. Let's just cut bait with him already. It's like, why? You have to pay him.
I don't.
He might as well take a spot.
Do you want to do that? You know what I'm going to do? Next year, I'm drafting a quarterback, and Russ is going to start the year, and then I move on. Like Tannehill with Levis. Tannehill, it was basically he was going to be gone this year. It was his last year. But I don't know, man. The idea of just cutting him for like no reason, very strange.
Well, no, it's like, again, this is the Broncos admitting, like, I mean, how long did Melvin Gordon stay there before they finally cut bait with him? They just don't want to admit their mistakes, so they're just trying to like disguise it as something else. And you're gonna make it about money and a roster spot, and like not about the play. And it's just like, really, you really want to go with Jarrett Stidham when you actually still have a shot in the dark to make the playoffs? It's so fucking asinine. I can't fucking stand it.
Yeah, my concern is that Sean Payton's not the guy.
He's not. No, this game proved to me he's a fraud. He is a fraud of a head coach. He is not good. And Drew Brees carried that man for a lot of years. And you just have to wonder, the bullshit play calling. And I'm tired of that. I'm tired of like literally the excuses at the press conference for why they do what they're doing. And like, I mean, come on, like you got a Russell Wilson and you came in, your job was to come in and make it work. And you're doing anything but that. And you're getting away with a lot of ugly wins too. It's not like they've ever had a really good, Kansas City might have been the best win, but you got Patrick Mahomes with the flu. Yeah, the future of the Broncos is very bleak. That's there you go. I'm done. Fuck you, Broncos. You've broken my heart too many times. I'm done with this team.
All right, last three. We could go over these relatively quickly.
All right, yeah, lightning round. Kansas City, Raiders. Raiders get the win 20-14. Very ugly game. Yeah, you called this one. I'll let you go.
Well, I didn't bet it. Of course, I put an alternate bet on Kansas City instead because, Kansas City clinches the division with a win. They always beat the Raiders. I had a feeling Kansas City they're not right. The Super Bowl hangover is real. They're in a lot of trouble. I wonder if Antonio Pierce keeps his job. What do you think? You think Antonio Pierce gets the job full time?
No.
It's Mark Davis.
I don't. Oh, whoops. 1 sec. There we go. No, he doesn't. I hate to say it because he kind of like Rich Bisaccia, he definitely deserves the job. It definitely like should be his to lose. I don't know if it's like a situation with the fucking Raiders where they want a resume guy, but it just seems like every time they get these interim guys, they just kind of want them to do the season. At least with Jim Irsay, when he brought in Jeff Saturday, there wasn't an expectation of Saturday to keep it permanently. It literally was like, look, we need to find the right guy. We need the time. We need someone to start rebuilding the culture. And I actually think that's what Antonio Pierce is. He's a better version of Jeff Saturday. He's just there to rebuild the culture, get the momentum up, keep the positive attitude in the locker room. But I think at the end of the day, like the Raiders I don't know how far they're going to go with Antonio Pierce. It just seems like he's riding the momentum of being the interim. But I think end of the year, they're going to go in another direction. But admittedly, I mean, if they love this guy as much as they say they do, he deserves the job. I would love to see Antonio Pierce in the NFL. I think it would be very good for the NFL. It would be very good for the Raiders, but I just don't know if I see it. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, it's Mark Davis, so my guess is no, because they're going to want the shiny new toy. But honestly, I mean, you look at it like there's not a whole lot of great coaches out there, and he's done a good job. If I'm the Raiders, like, maybe I just give him a shot and see, see what happens next year. Because you could always fire a coach after 2 full seasons, which essentially is what this would be. Go give him an extension, and if he doesn't pan out, get the shiny new toy next year. I mean, let's be honest, Brandon Staley was a shiny new toy at one time. Arthur Smith was a shiny new toy. How many of those guys don't work out? So, you know what?
Matt Patricia was a shiny new toy.
Let's be honest. I mean, I think he's done a good enough job this year with Aiden O'Connell, who you never even heard about before the start of the year, yeah, I give him a shot. See what he got.
I hope they do. That's I think he deserves it, but like I said, I don't know. Especially if you have a Jim Harbaugh that's coming back in, or is it Jim or the other one that's coming into the NFL?
Jim.
Yeah, it's Jim. Yeah, so I think that's a potential.
He's going to the Chargers anyway. So.
Supposedly, but I could see I don't know, man. Anything could happen. Speaking of anything happening, the Giants, the Eagles. Eagles do get the win. Pretty ugly fashion, though. I think, what was it, 33-25 was the final.
Yeah. Interception in the end zone to end the game.
Yeah, very close game. By the way, R.I.P. Tommy Cutlets. His story was fun while it lasted. Tyrod Taylor, baby. We're back.
Yeah, although Cutlets might play. I mean, honestly, Cutlets probably should play.
Nope, Tyrod has been named the starter for the rest of the year.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think I'd rather see what I got with Cutlets than I know what I got with Taylor. I'd probably see what I had with Cutlets the final 2 games, but whatever. Like, fun story while it lasted. Look, I told you, the Eagles, betting them at like 14 points, which is what it ended at, was just stupidity. So
yeah, I'll give you a quick reminder here on the feed. This was what we ended the episode with beforehand.
I knew we weren't going to have to do it. Told you.
Yeah, so luckily for us, no double incinerators tonight. And yeah, I mean, with that said, I don't really have any takeaways with the Eagles. They should have been better, but their defense, I think, is really the sore spot here. They have not been good lately. And Jalen Hurts, I mean, he puts up 33. He does his job. I'm concerned the Eagles could be a one-and-done team next year.
Yeah.
Or not next year. I think they could be very much a one-and-done team this year. I have no hope that... I don't know how you could take the Eagles to make a serious title run this year the way they've been playing.
No, too inconsistent. They didn't look... Their defense is really no good. So unless their defense finds a way, they're not a legitimate contender.
Yeah, not anymore. All right, final game. The Niners, they hosted the Ravens. Boy, oh boy. Everything went wrong for Brock Purdy. Everything went right for Baltimore. 33-19 was the final. Ravens, I think, had 17 unanswered points in the third. Brock Purdy, 4 interceptions.
I mean, we cooled the numbers, though. It's Lamar Jackson versus the NFC, Lamar Jackson against... Although it's hard because you talk about Lamar's... Let's be honest, Lamar didn't really have to do all that much.
No.
Pretty much, like 4 interceptions, and that game got away from the... No, I don't know. To me, like, the Niners are... I don't know if I'm sold on them. I really don't know. I know they're the big favorite, but that was another number that just seemed really stupid. Like, are they really 3.5 points better than the Ravens on a neutral field? Are they really as good as people think? I don't know. I think their numbers have been skewed playing against some bad opponents. That's just my personal opinion. I know they beat the Eagles and Cowboys pretty badly, but I'm not 100% sold on the Niners. It's like a juggernaut, sure thing Super Bowl winner.
I learned 2 things. Number 1, sports media was right. Brock Purdy is not an MVP He's not MVP quality of a quarterback. And it's not that he's too inconsistent. And I hate to use the term system quarterback here because admittedly he's still performing a lot better than I would say at least half the league. But you hear Brock Purdy MVP and you just kind of start to wonder why, because he had that 3-game skid where he was just blowing chunks everywhere. And all of a sudden he's an MVP. It's like, I don't know. That's why I don't really take the MVP conversation too seriously, because we all know it's a quarterback award. If we were really being honest, Christian McCaffrey should be the one getting the fucking MVP this year. The way he's been playing, the way he actually gets the offense moving, and the difference he makes on that team with and without them, you really just kind of have to wonder why he's not being considered. But no, and now it's Lamar Jackson, which, I mean, good for him. He'll have another MVP award. He'll go one and done in the playoffs too. But I don't know what to take from the Ravens either. The second point I will say I learned, the AFC still appears to be the dominant conference. Because you're right, the Niners beat all the top contenders in the NFC. You got the number one in the AFC, and that was the performance you put up against a Ravens defense, which, by the way, I think still underrated, but properly rated in the rankings. Their defense, I mean, that really was the story at the end of the day. I think the Niners defense is not as good as people make them out to be, and Brock Purdy just kind of gets away with having all these studs around him, and he's just got to do a game management type situation all the time. And it's just not going to get you wins. You're not going to win every game the way Brock Purdy plays. Lamar Jackson playing the way he's playing, you will win a lot of games. As you're seeing this season, like, you know, the way he's playing, where it's like he's not trying to heave the ball in the red zone all the fucking time. He's not trying to scramble every play. He's just he's making it look smart again. He's looking like he's matured a little bit. And I think that's what you need. I think that's why he's the MVP frontrunner.
Yeah, no, I mean, like you said, he's running the ball when he needs to. He's playing smart. I don't know. I'm, like I told you, fair, still not sold on Lamar as the MVP, but it looks like he may win by default, because it seems like every time someone takes the lead, they falter. I mean, my question is just, like, if the Ravens lose this week, is Tua going to be the MVP? Like, I'm just wondering.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm wondering if I could see the path to Josh being the MVP if, like, Tua wins against the Ravens and then, like, the Bills beat Miami week 18. I mean, that's just a sort of.
I mean, if you wanted to flick a chip on it, I'm sure you could get decent odds, but I think it's.
I think 15-1 now.
My problem is I could just see the interceptions being used against him too much.
A lot of interceptions. And he has a road game left, so there's at least one. So
yeah, so we're getting into futures here, but we have a Thursday night game we need to get to, and yeah, this is not what you want to start your Thursdays with, but I'll try to make it as interesting as I can. Thursday night football, we have the New York Jets. They are traveling on the road, 7.5-point underdogs right now to the Cleveland Browns. Currently, they sit at a plus 290 on the money line. Browns are minus 360, 7.5-point home favorites. Over under is a low 34.5. It's Joe Flacco, revenge spot, going up against his former team, the New York Jets. Browns getting 68% of the money, 79% of the tickets, according to FanDuel. Money Mansmann, I am going to defer this one to you. Well, what is your take?
Browns at home. I think they have one loss on the year at home. Terrible spot for the Jets coming off a win. Playing on the road. Trevor Siemian on the road against the Browns defense that's been better at home. Kind of sucks because the number was at 7 for a while, and that was the only thing that sort of irks me with this game. But I think it's Browns or nothing here, and I like the Browns fairly well. Let's be honest, the Jets are not a good football team. Their season's over. They're going to Cleveland. Cleveland, I think, clinches a playoff spot with a win. They've been great at home. Joe Flacco, revenge spot. Elijah Moore, revenge spot. This is Browns or nothing. And I'll shout out to SGPN because a couple of bets I did find interesting. The two I think I'm going to play together. David Njoku over receiving yards. Amari Cooper under receiving yards.
Oh,
the idea being Sauce Gardner, DJ Reed, good against the pass. Joe Flacco's still going to sling the ball. He'll sling it to the tight end, Njoku, who had 5 catches last week, but only 34 yards. I think he's at like 48 now. Very easy. He gets 5-6 catches, could very easy break that. We've seen tight ends hurt the Jets before. So I actually like those plays from our friends at SGPN. And yeah, definitely Browns 7.5. I may put a little tease on there just to be safe, but I think the Browns could easily win this by 17 points.
Yeah, this is weirdly enough, this is going to be a margin play for me. And here's Here's the logic. It's going to be the Cleveland Browns to win by 1-13 plus 105. Here's why. This to me is just like, number one, it just feels very trappy. But you're right. Cleveland is at home. They're going up against a shit Jets team that has nothing to play for, and that's my concern. The Jets have nothing to play for, so they're just going to go all out. Historically speaking, the Browns are only 2-7 straight up against the Jets at home in this millennia. If you go all the way back to 2004, they are 1-4 straight up in the last 5 matchups. In all 7 of those games, the Jets actually would have covered this number. On top of that, Cleveland is somehow a 10-win team. They have still not clinched a playoff berth. But even with all that, the Browns are the play. I'm just concerned that it's going to be a lot closer than people think. Mm-hmm. I could see this being the Joe Flacco dud game where he's going to get 4 interceptions, but maybe 1 passing touchdown here. Browns wouldn't. In order for the Browns to miss the playoffs, they would have to not only lose out, they need the Bills, the Steelers, and the Jaguars to win out. Then in week 17, they need the Texans and the Colts to win in order to be eliminated. Trevor Siemian, 4-11 record as a starter on the road since 2016. He has not won on the road as a starter since he was a Denver Bronco. Yeah, this is just like, even if the Jets have a game like they did with Washington, they get it to a big lead, Cleveland could come back on this team. And unlike Washington, they could come back and get the win.
I just don't see the Jets getting off to a lead at this defense playing at home. I mean, again, I know Cleveland's defense hasn't been as good, but they've been a lot better at home, and this Jets offense is still terrible.
They've been better at home, but they haven't really... I saw Joe Flacco play the Rams in LA, and he... even though he looked like the better quarterback for Cleveland, he didn't get the win. It wasn't really close. And honestly, there's 2 Joe Flaccos. You get the one where he was with the Ravens, and he was 4-0 straight up against AFC opponents at home. Or is this when he was with the Jets and he was 0-4 against AFC North? I mean, or AFC East. I don't know, man. He's 3-1 versus the Jets, and he has that revenge factor. For me, I'm with you. It would be Browns or nothing, but I'm getting a margin of 1-13 at plus 105. If I want to get cute, I could take the plus 14 at plus 175. I just think the 1-13 is a lot because I don't know if they're going to, truth be told, I don't know if they're going to cover 7.5. I could see this just being a 1 touchdown game. Or this could be a 2 touchdown game all game, and the Jets get a backdoor cover. And that's what I would be worried about. So, yeah, that's my play personally. And as far as a prop, I mean, if you want to be safe, you could take Browns first half. It looks like it's only 3.5. I think it is right now. I'm double checking now.
Yeah,
4.5. 4.5. It went up. Yeah, so I think Jets are still a pretty bad first half team. I think they're over on the road. So Browns ended even money plus 100. Browns first half minus 4.5 would be a good play, but. Yeah, I just have concerns this is a trap. That's really all it is. And you know me, Thursday night football trends. Road teams, they're now let's see here. Are they 9-6? They are 9-7 ATS on the year. 5-11 straight up. And they have gone 1-6 ATS since week 11.
Well,
so,
I'm surprised you're not all over Cleveland here. I mean, the Jets on a short week, on the road. Do we trust Robert Saleh and Nathaniel Hackett on the road in a short week?
No, it's not that. It's more of I don't know if I could trust Cleveland. When Joe Flacco's getting all this high. This just seems like you're buying Cleveland really, really high. And I don't know if I want to buy them at minus 7.5 with the Jets. Because especially looking at the history with these two teams, Cleveland tends to choke in these situations. And I just don't know if I want to lay the points when I could get a margin of 1-13 and get plus money.
Well, good luck. I mean, I think you could definitely hit. I mean, it's possible. Maybe even probable. I think that you hit. But yeah, no, good luck. I hope we both win. I think we could both win in this game. So
I do too, and I do like your prop plays, but I have nothing else. We're at the hour-and-a-half mark. Money Mansmann, I know you're not feeling well. Hope you feel better, but any final remarks for the guys?
No, it was a good week. Hope this week's just as good.
Yes, sir, and we'll get back on Friday for the week 17. Can't believe we made it that far. Week 17 handicaps, Friday night. I'm Big Bucks Beta.
Money Mansmann signing off.
Have a good night, and always make that motherfucking money.